We got a bidet! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we got your next round of Star Wars news. This is our bi-weekly Star Wars news update for what's happened in the last 2 weeks. Today we got a couple of stories for you that's happened in the last 2 weeks. Some of them you've probably heard of, and some of them you probably haven't. There's one that we'll be talking about today that I was shocked to hear about. So we're really excited to bring it to you. But Sarah, what was probably the biggest news that we got in these last 2 weeks?
That would be the new Kenobi trailer.
We got
for the new show that's coming out in May, at the end of May, right?
Yep, May 25.
Yep.
I remember when I found out this was released, I told Sarah, I said, drop everything you're doing. This is not a drill. We need to watch the trailer because it was actually almost 2 minutes long. So I knew it was something legit. It wasn't just some teaser of, oh, look at some sand. This is Kenobi. Move on. You know, it was actually a full-on trailer.
What did you think of the trailer when you watched it?
I really liked it. There's a couple of things in the trailer. Well, everything I hoped that would be in the trailer, minus one thing that was like super subtle in the trailer. It wasn't like in your face. Everything I wanted from the show was hit in the trailer. So obviously Kenobi looks great. Looks like he fits the time period very well. We got the Inquisitors. I was very surprised to see the Grand Inquisitor shown in the trailer, simply because, you know, spoiler alert, but in Rebels he dies. So this takes place before those events in Rebels, and it's season 1 when that happens to him. So you know, you're figuring out your time frames there. So we saw Inquisitors. We saw new Inquisitors, which was cool. At least one that I didn't recognize. We saw a handful of other people besides Obi-Wan. You know, we got Ewan McGregor. We got other people returning. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, the actor and actress from the prequels. They are back, and they look like they're going to do great. We saw nods to Fallen Order, where the Inquisitors' fortress, I think it's called Inquisitor's Fortress. I think if I remember that correctly. But it was featured in Fallen Order, and we saw that in the trailer, so that was super cool, and we connecting that stuff to it. The one little piece that I wanted to see, but really we just got audio, was Vader. I think they released like a concept art or screen shot or whatever it is of Vader later on in the day, but we didn't actually see it in film. We know he's going to be in there simply because Hayden Christensen is back as well. But I was very excited, and the music hit hard. I feel like John Williams kind of felt like he should be all of Star Wars, and they haven't used him for everything, like the TV shows he hasn't been used for. So John Williams just came out with absolute fire for this trailer and basically getting the hype train going for this show. So I have seen Rebels, and I've played Fallen Order probably 2 or 3 times through. So, you know, I picked up on a handful of things. What did you think, coming from a fan that hasn't necessarily been heavily exposed to that stuff?
Yes, so I have only seen the main 9 films and some of the shows that have come out more recently, like Bad Batch, Mandalorian, and Book of Boba Fett, right? So I haven't seen some of the older, like Clone Wars and other shows that were from that time frame. But to me, I still think it was really cool. I think it was very ominous and kind of dark, a little bit of a dark tone to things. It wasn't, you can pick up that it's not really a super great time that's going on right now, right? So it's kind of a little bit of a, how do we how do we move on from here? So, you've got Order 66 that had happened previously. I don't know how far after that this is, but we know it's sometime after that, right? At least for me and what I'm picking up on. So it's kind of like, what do we do now? How do we rebuild? And I haven't really personally seen anything like that before that's in that general time frame. And just seeing some new characters. I haven't seen all the shows, but like I think it was the Grand Inquisitor that you told me about. I didn't know that that's who that was until after you told me, but that is a character that I've recognized from, walking past when you're watching those shows. So it's kind of neat for me to see my own glimpse of some characters that you know very well, and now I get to be introduced to them.
Yeah, nice. There's also something huge from the trailer we haven't even mentioned yet. You had mentioned not really knowing how much time has passed since episode 3. We kind of get a little bit of an indicator that it's around 10 years because we see Luke Skywalker as a little kid.
That's right.
We didn't mention that, but yeah, Luke was in well, it's Luke. They didn't say his name, but it is Luke. It was his house. It was his home with his aunt and uncle. It was very interesting to see him almost mimicking his dad racing, because we all know Anakin was a pod racer, and the kid is sitting there doing his thing as if he's driving something. I don't know what he's imagining he's piloting, but very cool to see that as well. There has been a couple of like beef things happening about the trailer. Not to spread toxic news, but myself, even when I saw the trailer, the Grand Inquisitor doesn't quite look like he should from the old shows.
Which for me is kind of surprising for how well they did with Cad Bane to not do that well with this character.
Yeah, and there's been tons of reports, people putting out there that there's characters that have been done in live action that are very similar to how he looks, and they've done it already, so why couldn't they translate that to this guy?
It makes me wonder it makes me wonder if they're going to do, if it's possible to do what happens to Sonic. If you remember when the Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out and everybody hated how Sonic looked to the point where they completely redid the film, and actually made him look a lot more realistic for how you would expect Sonic the Hedgehog to look in a live action film. So one can hope that maybe they'd be able to save this character. But that being said, that I think was all CGI, whereas this looks like it's a live actor. So it might be a little bit harder to do for this film than it was for Sonic.
Yeah, they only have like a little over 2 months until they get to actually put this out. I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, there's an episode of Mandalorian that came out where they had Gene's guy, what they called him, in the background, and they were able to edit him out and then basically re-upload the episode. But that was like 2 seconds. I can imagine this guy is, a ton in the show. I think at the bare minimum, change his eye color to yellow, because that's what he was supposed to look like. I've talked to a couple of friends about this trailer, and I was telling them about there's a Star Wars book, I believe it's called Dark Legends, something like that, where there's a story about an orphanage, and there's a child that is starting to feel being force sensitive, and there was always this talk of this like night stalker that would come and kidnap children from this orphanage, and it was talking about like the beady yellow eyes and whatnot, and it was the Grand Inquisitor. And I kind of feel like the way the character is portrayed in Kenobi does not fit that. Like, he doesn't seem like an ominous night stalker type character. So
He doesn't look scary.
Right, he just kind of seems like maybe like Tarkin, where his presence is known, but he doesn't seem scary. So we'll just kind of have to see how that plays out. I do truly think if they fixed him, it would be a lot better. There's been a lot of grief about another Inquisitor as well. But to me, when I first saw him, I didn't notice a thing. But once people started talking about him, it was iffy. I don't know which one he is, what his name is, but he's the brother that's green and has like a flat hat. I don't remember his name, but uh, the other thing that's been pretty big about this show is there's reports that have come out that when the show was first written, Kathleen Kennedy, which a lot of us really don't agree with, uh, had said that the story was too bleak and not enough hope in the script. And it's like, do you know what time frame this is? There is no hope. And like in the trailer,
Until we get a new hope.
yeah, another 10 years after the show. But like during the trailer, Kenobi is saying something along the lines of "we lost," and just the way that Ewan McGregor says that line, and just even though I'm Team Darkseid, my heart drops because it's like you're feeling for him. I don't know. I feel like I really want the show to do well. I feel like they can do it well. But I swear, if she gets in the way of how good it could have been, Star Wars is going to be in a very bad spot. That's all I can say. There's so many people that feel like, Boba was a little bit of a bump in the road. Mandalorian is really the only thing that is making this stuff worthwhile to a lot of people. So this is a show that they cannot mess up, especially with all the cast members that they have. Really hope it goes well. That's all I can say.
What's next?
Yeah, moving along. The next thing we're going to talk about is we got some Lego Star Wars news. We talked a little bit about Lego Star Wars on the last news update, and we got some specific details this time for some content that's going to be in the game. So if you're familiar with Lego games, there are things called character packs, and what they are is they're DLC packs. And if you purchase these, which can be anywhere, I think from like $2 to $3, maybe $4, I feel like that's where they cap out at. But you get a handful of characters to use in the game. And if you buy the standard edition, you're not going to get these character packs unless you pre-order through certain places. But if you get the deluxe edition, which is only $10 more, you will get all of these packs for free when they come out. We're going to talk about what those packs are because they were actually revealed and when they're going to come out. So on launch day, we got 2 character packs that are coming out. We got The Mandalorian Season 1, and then we got Solo, A Star Wars Story. So in The Mandalorian, there's going to be 5 characters. There's going to be Quill, IG-11, Cara Dune, Grief, and the Mandalorian. He's also going to have Grogu with him, but Grogu is actually not playable. Only Mando is. So Grogu's going to kind of be just part of his character.
Will he sit on his shoulder like Pikachu?
Maybe. We'll have to wait to see and find out. The second character pack that comes out on day 1 will be young Han Solo, young Chewbacca, young Lando Calrissian, Kira, Tobias, I think it was Tobias, and Enfys Nest. I believe that's the bad guy. I don't remember who that character is. Everybody else I remember.
What was the second to last one? Tobias. Who is that?
Beckett. So that was Woody Harrelson's character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll get those 2 character packs on day 1. So if you get the deluxe pack, you're going to get those for free with the season pass. If you get the standard edition, you'll have to pay extra for those character packs. So if you want the Mandalorian characters or if you want the characters from Solo, you're going to have to pay extra if you don't get the season pass with the deluxe edition. In my opinion, after buying Lego games for how many years, I can tell you right now, it's worth it. Just get the deluxe edition, pay the extra $10 now, and you won't have to worry. As these packs come out, download right then and there. A couple other packs. So on April 19th, so a couple of weeks after the game launches, I think that's exactly 2 weeks after it launches, we'll get the Rogue One DLC characters, and classic characters. I'll talk about what that means in a minute. But Rogue One characters, we're going to get Jyn Erso. There's a lot here. Bodhi Rook, Cassian Andor, K2SO, Chira Imwe. I don't know how to pronounce that. Baze Malbus, and Director Krennic. So we get a lot in the Rogue One DLC characters. Releasing alongside it also on April 19, like I said, was the classic characters. So you may be asking, why would I pay to get classic characters when they're already going to be in the game as part of the Skywalker saga? Because the characters included are Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Darth Vader, and Lando Calrissian. What's the difference? Well,
I'm gonna get special outfits.
Not quite. Close. The difference is that, so when you play the game, they're going to look like minifigures from nowadays. If you get classic characters, like in this one, they're going to be yellow, like the original Lego characters. So if you're not familiar with Legos, before, like probably, I don't know, when I was a kid, which wasn't that long ago, but when I was a kid, they were yellow for every character's skin. Kind of like if you watch the Lego movie, Emmett is yellow, Wild Style is yellow, that kind of a skin tone for the Legos. So if you buy the classic characters, you're going to get that look. It's the older Lego minifigure look for those characters. And then on May 4th, so Star Wars Day, we're going to get the Trooper Pack, which is different types of Imperial Troopers. So that's the Death Trooper, the Incinerator Trooper, Range Trooper, Imperial Shore Trooper, and the Mimban Stormtrooper. So we'll be getting that pack as well.
It's a lot of different troopers.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters coming out. There is one other one coming out. I don't remember the release date. We are going to be getting the Bad Batch. Oh, looks like we're going to get that one on April 5th as well. So look forward to the Bad Batch as well. But in my opinion, they dropped the ball on this one because they're, as far as I know, they are not including Omega. They're including everybody but. So we'll have to see if they slip Omega in there somewhere. One other pack that I have heard of, but I don't know the release date, and I haven't seen it looking up, is Mandalorian Season 2 characters. I believe Gideon is going to be in there, so you know we're going to try that out. So yeah.
It sounds like there's 5 characters per pack. Is that pretty standard?
Ish.
Because that would make me think that's why Omega's not in there. Isn't there already 5 characters in the Bad Batch minus Omega?
Yes, but Rogue One pack had like 7 or 8. So I don't know where they stand on that one. But again, if you get the season pass with the deluxe edition for $10 extra, it'll pay for all of these. As soon as they come out, you'll get them for free. And like I said, they're about $2 to $4 a pack, I believe, just based off of history with Lego games.
That would make it worth it.
Yeah, makes it totally worth it. And plus, you know, these are just ones that they've announced. If they ever come out with stuff that they haven't announced, you get that for free too. So
I feel like that happens a lot. There's bound to be at least one surprise pack.
Yeah, so just get it over with the season pass, and then you'll be golden. Plus, you'll get that cool slip cover of Darth Vader. If you get the deluxe edition, Vader's on the cover, and when you take the slip cover off, his mask comes off.
Ooh,
without the mask, so
nice.
That's even cool too. But we're gonna move on to our final piece of news, which is the one that shocked me the most. I did not know this was happening. I was looking up random things about Star Wars, and boom, it popped up. Probably because maybe it's that search history type of thing where your computer remembers what you looked at in the past. But there is a new Star Wars board/card game coming out. And Sarah, what is that game?
It is Villainous. We've seen it with Disney characters, we've seen it with Marvel characters, and now we get to see it with Star Wars characters.
Yes. Uh, Ever since Disney started off with this game, I have been like, I wonder if they're gonna do Star Wars. And then they did Disney, then they did Marvel, and now they have Star Wars. I wonder if that's something they do with their IPs because that's the same order they came out with in Disney Infinity was Disney, Marvel, and then Star Wars.
Could
Um,
be. For those of you who don't know what Villainous is, it is a board game slash card game, as Jeremy explained. Each player is kind of playing their own battle against a specific bad guy, if you will, or certain villain, where you're trying to get to some sort of objective, right? Save somebody, grab a certain treasure, whatever the objective is that's relevant to that character. So with the Disney ones, you could be in a Peter Pan realm while somebody else is playing in a Beauty and the Beast realm, right? So usually they come out with five-ish realms that you can play in. And while you're playing with these cards, you can do things that affect other people to make it harder for them to reach their objective before you reach yours. So you're kind of playing your own game by yourself, but you're also playing against other players while they're doing their own separate thing. So you're not all in the same realm together, if you will. There's, like I said, there's about five-ish different realms that come in the first pack. There's been different expansion packs where they give you an additional 3 villains that you can try to beat. And you can mix and match between the starter pack and the expansion packs. There's, boy, for Disney, I want to say there's 1 starter and 3 expansions out right now, and Marvel has 1 starter and 1 expansion, I think.
Something like that. I think Disney may have 4 or 5. They have a lot more for Disney. There's only 1 expansion, I think, for Marvel.
Right. So for Star Wars, this is just the first starter pack that's been announced.
Yeah, I do want to clarify because you keep saying defeat villains. You are the villain. You're trying to
Yes.
defeat the other. So, like, the premise of the game is that you are a villain and you're trying to carry out your own agenda. Each character has their own agenda, what they're trying to do. So, like, I believe when they advertised Darth Vader, his objective was defeat Luke Skywalker. So
It's been a while since we played, so I apologize for having that flip-flopped.
no worries. And then I don't remember them saying any of the other ones because Vader's on the cover of this game, so he was featured in like the article and whatnot. But basically, you are a villain. You have your own agenda, and while you're playing, like Sarah said, you're trying to do your own thing. But at the same time, you can try to disrupt other people's agendas. And basically, the way it works is you can insert different heroes into their realm to try to disrupt what's going on. This set will come out with, like she said, 5 characters, and those 5 characters are obviously Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Asajj Ventress, General Grievous, and Moff Gideon. Now, you may be wondering, why those people? They could have totally had these other ones. Well, it's just like Sarah said, there's expansion packs. If you notice, there's no bounty hunters at all in that villainous set. So I would be willing to bet tons of money that there's going to be a bounty hunter expansion set coming out in the near future.
You're not making any bets.
No, we're not making any bets, but you know, it's something that is like certain that it's going to happen as long as, obviously, as long as the game sells well. But they've probably already got some Star Wars expansions planned out for the future. It's a very fun game. It takes a little bit of a learning curve. I feel like it's you just learn by playing it. Like, just try it out. But we highly recommend it. It's probably one of our favorites.
I believe it's for what, 2 to 8 players, something like that. The bigger the group you have, the longer it's going to take to play, just because everybody takes their own turn one at a time. You can't all play at the same time.
At the bare minimum, it's 2 to 5 because it comes with 5 characters. But if you get an expansion pack, then you can add people in there. But yeah, I look forward to that. I believe that's probably going to be a day one as soon as we see it by for us. I heard August, so fingers crossed. We see them all the time in Target. Meyer has them every now and then for Villainous. Um, I feel like Target gets them way, way more often and up to date than Meyer does. I feel like Meyer's like a step behind Target as far
You can
as,
also get them on Amazon.
yeah, you can get them on Amazon. One of the cool things though about getting it at Target is they got exclusive editions. So watch for those. If you're wondering about, testing the waters before Star Wars comes out and you enjoy Disney or Marvel, check them out. There's the Disney one has been out for a while, so you probably can get some good deals on those. I know we saw one of the expansions on clearance for like $8 the other day at Target. So the prices are down on the Disney ones, and then Marvel as well. Both of them are very, very good, and we highly recommend them.
As far as I know, you don't actually need the starter pack to play an expansion pack. So if you're looking to start out really cheap and only have 2 or 3 players, grab an expansion pack and try one of those first before you grab a starter pack.
Yeah, I think I think that's true. I don't remember what's in the expansion pack myself, but I think you're right. Because there's certain tokens and stuff you need as well. But also, one thing that mentioned about this game is that the artwork is phenomenal. The artwork is so good, they make puzzles of them. So, that lends something to it. If you go to the puzzle aisle in Target, I can guarantee you're going to see Villainous or Barnes and Noble. They sell them too. And sometimes they actually come with the figures. So that's pretty neat. One cool thing about the Villainous figures, you're going to, see them up here on our little banner. If you take a closer look at them, they all have lightsabers, or in Moff Gideon's case, the dark saber. Their pieces are modeled after those. So take a closer look up here in the little banner to see the fine detail that they put into these figures. You will not be disappointed. But besides those news updates, Sarah, is there anything else? We good to go?
I think that about wraps it up for this time. Yep.
Cool. Well, that was our Star Wars week or bi-weekly news update for you. If you enjoy these, make sure to turn your notifications. That way you are alerted in 2 weeks when the next news segment comes out. We are getting really close to Star Wars Celebration. That'll be in, I believe, June, maybe May, one of the two. May is going to be hot for Star Wars news. So make sure to turn your notifications. That way you are alerted when more of our Star Wars news comes out. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop us a like if you like this video, and drop us a comment letting us know your thoughts on this week's news stories. And then, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.